Make sure it's muted. Fuck.
Hey. Hey. I got 500 subs today, so I'm celebrating. And I'm going to go for it. Not your witness here. And I don't know what we're going to talk about, but
Yeah, hello.
we're going to all bathe in my glory here.
Shouldn't we sing Happy Sub Day to you?
Oh,
Happy
yeah.
Sub Day to you. Happy Sub Day, dear Johnny. Happy Sub Day to you.
My heart is just.
Are you sure you're not drunk, Pip?
No, I'm just happy. I had a good day. I had a good day.
It's good to hear.
I insulted a couple of people, and I did a live stream with Robert against a Christian, and in the live chat were all these Christians, and they were supporting Robert and me and giving us compliments. I mean, it was as if there was a different world somewhere. I never had that before.
Not on the internet.
I never had that
Twitter,
before.
Where everyone hates and fights and argues.
Yeah. So no, just to be honest, I had one of the most difficult shows ever done. I'm really proud of what we achieved. I'm extremely proud of Robert, and I'm still on a buzz. So that would explain my behavior.
It actually sounded like you just said you were on a bus, but you're on a bus.
On a buzz.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people in the other hemisphere have some kind of weird spelling. I know. I've been watching Kiwi cop shows, and so
Oh god.
yeah.
My dad loves
I
that
mean,
shit.
they got red police cars. I mean, just
Oh yeah. The
shows you.
highway
I mean, in the normal world, what's red is a fire truck, not a police car.
Yeah, we have them as well. The idea is there are multicolored police cars that cruise down the highway. Like multicolored being they're all different colors, not just a standardized color, so that they blend in, but they're not actually an undercover cop car or anything.
So but
you just don't notice
know
them in the rear view.
You know why fire trucks are red, right?
No.
You don't?
No. Yeah, I was thinking something about so that you don't see how much they're bleeding, but that's I think something.
No. It's really easy. It all goes back to when cars first entered our lives, and back then cars seated 4 people and had 5 wheels, the 4 you used to drive with and 1 spare. So 5 times 4 is 20. Back then 20 Dutch guilders was 1 British pound. A pound in Holland is a pond. In pond you have fish. Fish have fins. Fins live in Finland. Finland is next to Russia. Russia is a communist country. What is the color of communism?
Red.
See, it's that easy.
I should have known. I mean, if I could have,
it all boils down to logic.
If I could have weaved that tangled web like you just did there. I mean,
it took me a while. It took me a while to figure out, but it's true.
It took me a while to memorize that. It's like learning a freaking like half a book of War and Peace or something like that.
No, it's just adding the facts, and then you get to the final conclusion, and it's true.
Well, of course. I mean, if I take a conclusion, I can tie any evidence to that conclusion. Damn it.
Yeah, no, but it is. What I did wasn't taking the conclusion. I just added the facts and somehow ended up in Russia, and then thought, damn, I remember what color communism is.
Yeah, but
you made it up for halfway, and then you sort of tried it.
Wait a minute, though. Russia's attached to the Pacific Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean's attached to Alaska, and Alaska's part of not Canada, but
Yeah. See, but you're going the wrong way. You need to go the other way, and then you end up in China. In China, you had Mao. Mao wrote a book. What was the name of the book?
Red.
You are
See?
unbelievable.
Mao's little red book. It all ties in. It's logic, Tim. It's amazing when you look down to the core of it. It all makes sense.
Logic.
Well, except Australians, but
But we're AI. We're imaginary.
yeah. And so, as I said, I've been watching Kiwi cop shows, and I learned that a head is actually the part of the body attached to the neck upwards is a head.
That's
Or
it.
it's upper head. Upper head
Sorry?
is upper head is something further along the line.
Yeah,
In front of you. Upper head.
yeah, and upper head can also be a hat. You wear a hat. You wear a hat up a head.
I gotta go
As in where you wear your hat. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
There.
Tim, what are your plans now? Now you're an adult YouTuber.
I'm going to Disneyland.
As a character or as a visitor?
I don't know. One of the little elves, maybe. That probably fit me pretty good. No,
I mean, you're
send me money, Dr. Pepper.
yeah. Hey, you're a carpenter. I mean, you could make a new Pinocchio.
Oh, actually, today we had like 20, 30 inches of snow that I had, and I shoveled it off the deck, and I made a time lapse video out of that. If that's anything.
See, I still think when you do your videos, back when I discovered the Virgin Tim on YouTube, back a long time ago.
3 years ago.
Yeah. You used to make videos, and then you would talk, and while you were talking about a certain subject, in the meantime, you build a wardrobe or a kitchen cabinet or a door or whatever. I still think you should do more of that and monetize that, because
Yeah,
I do some DIY, and I love to watch those videos. I love to see how you solve certain problems in converting a plank into a wardrobe, for instance.
You know what's the hard part about that, Peter? Is I'm a one-man show. I don't have an editor. I don't have a cameraman. I don't have a promotion manager. I try. But I'm not working right now either, because it's 7 below Fahrenheit right now outside, and that's regular. That's the normal temperature. That's the actual temperature. It's not the wind chill even included, which is, I don't know if you've ever been out. I'm sure you've been out in that, Peter, but it's that when you're out in 60 below wind chill weather, you better have every bit of your skin covered, because you do not last more than 5 minutes out there. It's that quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not for me. No. Too cold for my liking.
Well, I have to say, back then you were in somewhat of a warmer climate.
Yeah, I'll be going out to LA here in a couple of weeks, actually.
You're going back?
So I will make some building videos out there, because I'm going to be working on my brother's outdoor kitchen, putting that up and building a retaining wall for in between the houses. His place. So the lowly atheist carpenter will strike again.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't believe I got 500 subs, man. That took forever. From 400 to 500 was like forever.
Well, I still think you deserve them.
Oh, thanks, Peter.
And you need more. And I'm going to nag you because I did an intro for the what was the Heathen Drive-By.
Yeah, I've still
That needs to come back too. Have some conversations, invite some guests.
Yeah, well, the thing is that after a lot of things,
man, on your show, we figured out that we need an orgasm button. And we got a scientist back in to explain why we need an orgasm button and how we could abuse it. Bumping into people in the mall, pushing their orgasm buttons.
The conspiracy theory.
Remember that?
Yes, I do. I would love to have.
You had some cool shows. We had a lot of fun.
One thing I did do is get out of the live streaming, especially when Hangouts kind of went out of there, because now it's like, I mean, look at how much trouble we went through just to get both of you guys on here. Like,
yeah, that's the thing that I don't get, because guess what I'm using for our show? Hangouts.
How do you use that? Do you pump it through the RTS feed or whatever?
OBS.
Oh, OBS.
Yeah, you use it through OBS, yeah.
Oh, well, you know what? I got a new laptop now, Peter, so I can probably use OBS now.
Great. You just let me know what you need. I'll make you the graphics, and we'll figure out a way to do your show. I'll help you set up OBS. Let's get this baby running.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
what's the big news in Amsterdam these days?
I have no clue. I hate Amsterdam and the people that live there. They call us hayseeds.
They do, huh?
Which is funny because my last name is De Tucker. You know what a tucker is?
Red,
a tucker is a guy or a girl or anything in between that lives in the area called Twente in Holland, which is in the east and about in the middle of the country, but all to the east. That's Twente. And someone who lives there is called a tucker. And you know what tucker means? It means hayseed. Or to be more specific, stupid hayseed.
Okay.
Great name.
So
Dutch.
Don't you think my name is fitting?
Mm-hmm. D-Tucker.
Suits you well.
Yeah, see? I bear it with pride.
I do have to watch that, because I saw you tweeting that with Robert the other day. I was almost got to it, but I had too many other things going on, so I couldn't even make it to it.
All about the show, you mean?
Yeah. I gotta watch that.
you have to watch it. While you watch it, keep an eye on the side chat, and once you're done, go to the comments and see who left the most comments. It is
okay.
I'll give you a scoop. I'll be having a phone call with people in South Africa tomorrow, because this is something Robert and I decided we won't let go. I want to find out a lot more about an upcoming guest who has 1,500 court rulings against him. And that includes Christian organizations, churches, a children's home, and his own wife and children. So, safe to say he's not a nice guy. We're talking level Jim Jones here.
Oh boy.
Jesus.
Yeah, so and so what we had on was one of his followers, which was the reason I chose Robert, because Robert has a background in recognizing certain signs when it comes to predators.
Okay.
And Robert is also a guy with a lot of compassion when it comes to victims. So Robert obviously was my choice for a co-host. I still think Robert is perfect as a co-host, and he proved that yesterday on the show. And
Yeah,
we decided we're not going to let this go as long as we're allowed to talk to the victim. We're not going to let it go. But it was intense. It was really, really intense.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah. So this, I'll fill you in without spilling the beans, because a lot of people would have seen it on Twitter already. There's a guy in South Africa who claims to be the wife of God. He calls himself Mommy, and he has a son, which is an 18-year-old African boy, a black African boy, and he has convinced this boy that he's Jesus.
Okay, that sounds like a
Wow.
And that boy we had on yesterday, he's completely indoctrinated him, has convinced him that the boy can no longer trust his own mind. And pretty much everything he wants to know, he has to go to him and ask the meaning about certain verses in the Bible, things that he encounters in the real world, stuff like that. So the boy's completely cut off from reality while living in reality. It's
that's sad.
Like a JW.
It's hair raising. It is. I mean, it has all the hallmarks of a cult, but it has all the hallmarks of grooming, of gaslighting, of manipulation.
You know, it seems like gaslighting has been the biggest freaking thing going on in the last freaking year or so to me. Or maybe I'm just more aware of it. Oh, Mr. Bear's at work. You can't make it, damn it.
Yeah. So I took an interest because I did an intake with a boy, and he's one of the kindest people you've ever met. He's also fairly intelligent. He's not stupid, but he's completely indoctrinated. And I think he deserves better. So we'll see what we can do, and if possible, maybe even alert some authorities about what's going on, and see if they can help, because this is just horrific. Yeah. And the weird part is, the boy still has parents, and the parents seem to be okay with everything that's going on. So I don't know.
Somebody jamming some loud music in the background somewhere?
No. That's weird though. Like, so are the parents complicit, or are they involved as well?
I still have no idea.
Huh.
I'm not entirely sure what happened, but it seems that this old guy who claims to be a mommy somehow turned up at this particular family, and they gave him shelter or took him in or whatever. I still don't know. And he told I don't know if he did it in a tweet or somewhere in the comments, that he doesn't live with them. But I still haven't figured everything out, and I didn't want to on air. There are some things I think you shouldn't discuss on air. I mean, a lot of things you can do.
Yeah.
But Yeah. So that's what I've been doing, and so the responses to our show were just awesome. I mean, I had a Christian in the side chat who rage quit our show. She was that mad with, and I think back then it was, I don't know if it was Lilith as a co-host or Robert. I don't even know, but she was now in the side chat cheering us on. So it's that weird.
Yeah.
So Nadja,
Yo,
Nadja, you
what?
read my comment on your last quote unquote show.
Oh, I probably did. Do you think I'm going to remember it off the top of my head?
You get an entire new setup, and then literally the first thing you do with that is mirror someone else's content. You lazy SOB.
Yeah, it was a great test because I needed to.
No, we need not your witness content. We
My
need
next
not your witness
be
content.
A gaming video, but you can't wait for that. A gaming video.
Yeah, bring back the fictional Ford Mustangs and Zaz. I forgot what type you were driving.
The Uzaz or whatever it was, the fake Russian thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was I thought it wasn't Ukrainian.
Oh, whatever the bloody hell it was.
I'm not entirely sure.
No. There's a bit of everything.
You know that's not your witness content. That's just some dude playing a game and not even being good at it. That's what it is. That's the point. And using cars that aren't even well designed. I mean,
yes.
You got a Ford Mustang. You got a Ford Mustang with 4 headlights, which is impossible. You got. Yeah, don't get me started about your cars. Everything is wrong with those cars.
Everything's wrong with them. I know. Well, if I chose a good car that was like all right, then you'd have nothing to complain about.
He's got a point there.
If you chose a good car, I wouldn't be watching, because this is the only reason why I watch to see what the hell's wrong with the cars you're driving.
Well, exactly. So, your retention is important to me. So if I want to keep your views, I obviously have to keep up with the fucked up cars.
Well, then I'm not going to watch. I want. You know what I want, right? I mean, look at that picture. Does it remind you of something?
I know what you really want.
Using right now.
I have been. I've been. Yeah, that's actually something I'm going to get back. This is in my to-do list.
Yeah. Has Wolf got back to you?
Closer to Jesus, actually say.
Wolf.
Yeah, from the Geek Room.
Oh, about another. Oh, I don't think they're going to do another.
I've been trying to get some allies to get you back in gear.
Yeah, no. Well, I'll still be keen to join in if they do it, or like be the one the finalist goes up against or something like that. But I was just gonna do roast on my own time.
Yeah, if you're going to do roast on your own time, that's once every 500 years. That's just not enough.
No, it's going to be more frequent now that I can actually fucking edit.
That's nice when you can actually do something on your computer, because it's not doing.
Something like the last several months, it had been unusable. That computer, I could not get a minute or two of editing in before it had just crashed the computer.
Oh, I've been there.
Or streaming without it being on absolutely shit settings, and even then it was either buffering or it would still crash. So yeah, no, I'm pretty close. Like what I'm doing now is working to get all of my the template stuff that I used to have in my editor for every pre-rendered, video I do. I'd have it based on a template. I'm trying to convert all of that to be on OBS, so that all I need to do is slap the strict edit together, and then I can run every video I do as a live stream, basically. Which is why I've been testing it with those videos. Like, I'll still do proper live streams too, but all of my pre-rendered videos will then run as a live stream as well. So that's what I'm working on.
Yeah, but the only thing, okay, so to use a pre-rendered video on a live stream, for that you only need one thing, and that's free.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Have you downloaded the K-Lite codec pack?
Yes. I've had that for years.
The K-Lite codec pack comes with the Media Player Classic. If you play your pre-edited shows in Media Player Classic.
Yeah, but what's the point? I can play it straight from OBS.
You can, but in OBS you can pause or anything.
I don't want to pause.
That would be necessary.
Would I? Yeah, if I'm doing a debunk of somebody else's video, sure, but that's not what I'm doing these as. These are so that instead of me uploading my rendered video straight to YouTube and it premiering it with the shitty fucking Premiere music, I can slap it into OBS, run it through all of my same opening sequences. Every video will have the same layout now.
But for that, you don't need a template, though.
Live stream, that's what. Oh my fucking God, Peter, you're insufferable sometimes.
Yeah, but for that you don't need a template. All you need is different scenes. And hook those up to hotkeys.
What do you think I'm fucking telling you? I used to have a template that I've been using for the last year or so when I do upload my video, premiering it. What I'm doing now is converting the template that I used to have over to OBS, which is what I fucking said in the first place, mate. Like, dude, listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth.
It's difficult because you're Australian. Words are
it's like
different
listening to you, I know. It's like, what are the words that are coming out of his mouth? I need a fucking translator.
Oh, what's the difference there, Peter? You're Dutch.
Doesn't make sense.
Well, we need to get together because I'm close to getting you something that we agreed on that you would get. Remember?
Are you talking to me or DriveBYE?
Yeah, I'm talking to you.
Yes. Oh, that's good. And I know what you mean.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You remember that poor drawing that you sent me?
A drawing. Okay, I was thinking of something else.
Oh, you had a drawing, and you said, "Here, can you work with that?"
I was thinking of
and then you said you were going to make me a storyboard. That was even worse than the drawing. Oh man, don't get me started.
I warned you. I warned you.
That wasn't a storyboard. That was just a few words on paper with even worse drawings to go with that.
Exactly.
Which made it even more difficult to figure out what the hell you were talking about.
There was no pretension that I knew what I was doing. I warned you.
No. Yeah. So I've come up with something completely different, but I still need your input. I still need your music. So you need to cut me the music so I know what I'm going to be working with.
To you. Isn't it still in the my Google Drive folder that I shared with you?
Could be, but did you have it cut up there already, or was that a full song?
I'm pretty sure I had both the cut and then full version, so that they'd be both there.
That I did not know. I'll go see and check.
Look at that,
and
right
find
there
out.
in the folder, specifically named for Peter. Been there for fucking months. Since September.
Yeah, but I didn't have a decent computer, so I couldn't do much. Now I can
now it's
actually
not okay.
do.
So it's not my fault now; it's your computer's fault, right? Okay.
Now that part, I wanted to know if I can do it better, because now I have Adobe 2020, which has a few more features and a few more tricks and things.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough.
So
I mean, I am clearly not in a rush. Like,
if I'm going to do anything for you, and then right after that up my grade, then you will have a lower grade. So I did put you, Mero, scientist Mel. I put everyone on hold for a while until I got my new computer and get everything set up.
No, that makes sense.
And I still don't have everything set up.
Come on.
I think I still have 10 plugins that I need to install. What?
Speaking of things, you might actually be able to help me with this. I'm having trouble getting OBS to view Zoom when you do a window capture. It'll capture Zoom, but it'll not show anything for the actual camera view. Like, so you won't see any people. It'll just show a big white blank screen, and it'll have the side chat. You know, so it still actually captures Zoom, but it doesn't capture what's coming on the camera.
What OBS are you using? Because I did Streamlabs and went back to the original OBS.
Same here. I'm on the original OBS as well.
Okay, so if you're on the original OBS, so what I had with Hangouts wouldn't show up either. And in order to do that, you go in what browser do you use?
Chrome, but I also the video hardware acceleration click box. I've done that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I already know about that.
And that doesn't work?
No. I know, and I'm
and
like,
you can't,
what?
And you can't find any tutorials on how to do that.
No, not specifically on what I'm having a problem with. There are, things with it.
I'll ask around because I'll ask around because Mel uses Zoom and OBS. Her producer also uses Zoom and OBS, so maybe they can help me out. I'll ask.
But as I said, like, it does still, like, it doesn't just not show anything. Like, it's not like it doesn't recognize Zoom. It pops it up and you'll see the side chat, and I can't remember if there's something down the bottom. It'll show something down the bottom, but it won't show the actual window where everyone is in the meeting, itself. It's just a white screen. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
But doesn't Zoom open in a special window without a browser?
Yes. Yeah, it doesn't use the browser.
Okay, and aren't there any settings in Zoom that use hardware acceleration?
Unfortunately, all the settings that I went through, nothing seemed to help. Oh, I should be able to open Zoom now. Because there aren't really as many settings as you'd like in it.
I don't know.
Yeah, but see if you find anything, let me know. But anyway,
yeah, I'll ask around. As I said, I know a couple of people who are using it in the same setup, so maybe they can help.
Oh well. Either way,
so yeah, you have the
screen.
You have You have the paid version of Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm jealous. But it's my own fault. I don't take any money, so I'll have to wait until someone comes along and says, "Hey, I'll buy you Zoom." But yeah.
Yeah, but you got to pay monthly.
It is what it is. Yeah, it's what, it's $15.
I don't.
Okay, a month.
Something like 12 or so American, yeah.
Does everybody say American?
Yeah, I mean, Australian dollars aren't really dollars. That's monopoly money, and no one even knows what that's worth.
We have it through Leah, and so all of that's in American money. So I wouldn't have a clue what it is in Australian.
Aha. Okay.
Right.
And now we're sitting here talking, and we have a host. Ah, damn.
Uh-oh.
Trigger you? Really? Really, Tim?
We're gonna
Denmark and socialism.
Denmark is really socialist.
Isn't socialist the same as communist, which is in red?
Not exactly. Not exactly.
Not exactly. That logical jumps you were making before, them's were good, but this one, that's too far.
I'm a citizen of Denmark, the Disneyland of socialism, where
Do you guys hear it?
everybody is happy and healthy.
Yeah.
Forget the Soviet Union, Cuba, Venezuela, and all those power-mad Marxists who got it wrong. Denmark is the model to follow. There's just one problem.
Just tell me when to
It's
stop.
a fantasy. For it to be true, Denmark would have to be a socialist country, but it's not. If it were, it would have gone Venezuela.
Some Scandinavian dude, huh?
Ago. Sorry to bring all the new fans of socialism the bad news, but that's the reality. Yes, it's true that Denmark has high taxes and a high level of government spending, key features of a socialist mentality. But in almost every other respect, Denmark is a full-on free market capitalist country. And
is that true, Peter? You're closer to that country.
Yeah, and the part of the people being happy is also true. I've been to Denmark a couple of times, and I have to say when it comes to Europe, I think the people in Denmark are the most friendly people on the planet.
Okay.
I went there and I had to find a specific company, and I don't speak a word Danish because I don't think that's even a language. That's just
I know it's like a roll
sounds.
for breakfast.
Yeah. So, but I bumped into some old guy, and I took the paperwork for what I needed to deliver there, and I showed him the address, and he pointed at the passenger door of my van, and made gestures I should open it. So I opened it, and he got in, and we then drove for, I think, 15-20 minutes. And I was at my destination, and he did not want me to drive him back. He would walk. I mean, I've never come across people like that.
Huh. Well, back in the 70s.
It probably would have taken him an hour to walk back or something for that distance. And he did not want me to drive him back. I told him to wait. Nope.
Well,
yeah, we had my company had a customer there, and I went there to deliver stuff that he had ordered, and I was invited into the owner of the company's house, which wasn't really a house, more like a mansion. And we sat down at dinner. I got an elaborate dinner, and then got back in the car to go back home. It is, people there are extremely friendly,
huh.
and happy. If you go see the polls, people in Denmark are high up in happiness, in content with about how they live, what their government does, and stuff like that. they rank very high.
Well, we got to find a different video because we're just agreeing with it now.
And it has some of the strongest protection of individual property rights in the world. And it's a particularly easy place to open a business. According to the World Bank, there's less bureaucratic red tape in Denmark than in any other country, except for New Zealand and Singapore.
What? Singapore? Okay.
And the labor market
Yeah,
is less
that's the
regulated.
red tape.
What was that?
I said Singapore has less red tape.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't mean that people there are happy, but it has less red tape. That's correct.
Than in most countries. Here's something you probably didn't know. There are no minimum wage laws in Denmark. It's not surprising then, or maybe it is surprising given all the misinformation out there, that Denmark ranks consistently as one of the top-ranked free market economies in the world by the Fraser Institute in Canada and the Heritage Foundation. So if Denmark is not a
But the Heritage Foundation is pretty biased.
socialist country, what is it? The answer is pretty straightforward. It's a small capitalist country, about the size and population of Maryland, whose citizens pay oodles in taxes in exchange for oodles.
What was that?
Bias. Everyone's got a bias, but you said the Heritage Foundation are biased, but biased towards what?
Oh, towards the free market part of it. I mean, anybody that's capital probably be biased towards that, but yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was just saying it. I just put it.
Isn't the Heritage Foundation a Christian organization?
They're climate deniers. Basically, they've been promoting climate denialism since it started, or whatever.
I guess where I might have heard them from.
They're big oil funders.
Yeah.
That's their main thing. Yeah, they're basically a right wing.
Yeah, I think I should maybe elaborate a little bit more on the socialist part. I think what a better name would be is that it is a social country. So it has everything in place for when people are disabled, can no longer work, so they will still have a decent income. If people lose their jobs, they'll have a decent form of social security, decent health care, stuff like that. So I wouldn't say that is socialist, but it is social. So
Yeah.
and same thing goes for education and stuff. It's all taken care of.
Socialist is kind of the all right, let's keep on going here.
Don't cough,
Well,
Tim,
what's
because
wrong with
I'm
that,
coughing
you
all
might
the time, and
Only this. For the government to pay
I'm
out
trying to
such
mute it here when I
benefits,
do.
you need citizens to make enough money to pay the necessary taxes. And that's only possible through a free market economy. Let me explain with some Danish history. Denmark, like its Scandinavian neighbors, Sweden and Norway, made a remarkable economic recovery after the Second World War. The combination of a highly productive workforce and, get this, low taxes created a lot of wealth. So, like every other wealthy welfare state, Denmark became wealthy before it created the welfare state. Relative to Europe, Denmark's economic high water mark was in the 1950s. Relative to the US, it was in the early 70s. It was then, in the late 60s and early 70s, that the country's ruling elite became preoccupied with wealth redistribution. But the price paid for this social experiment was steep and swift. The expansion of public spending led to a severe economic crisis. The national debt skyrocketed. It took decades of consolidation, structural reforms, and curtailing of welfare schemes to straighten out this mess. This is the stuff you never hear about from the Danish model crowd. The sharp tax hikes and spending also sparked a widespread popular revolt and led to the emergence of the tax protesters party, Fremskridtspartiet. Even though the party no longer exists, the widespread desire to cut taxes remain. It's worth noting that the welfare state originally began with government pension payments to the elderly. These social security-like payments are now in the process of being overtaken by private pension savings plans, the Danish equivalent to a 401k.
Okay, so what are they saying? I don't think anybody in the United States has a 401k anymore, hardly.
That's like the your retirement plan,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that's your retirement plan that you start
Yeah.
a pension plan with your company that you work for, and they pay so
Yeah.
much for it.
I thought so. Yeah, I thought so. Just wanted to be sure.
Yeah, but they're trying to say then that they're saying that Social Security is a bad thing. They're attacking the United States Social Security is what they're doing here in this. I'm guessing that's where I'm going. That's where they're going for.
That's right.
I think so too. They want to demonstrate that Social Security doesn't work, and that's the bad part in Denmark, and that's why the Americans should be very weary of any more taxes to take care of healthcare, of retirement plans, of Social Security, because that's going to ruin
Are you all familiar with
lives
our Social
and
Security here?
ruin. Sorry?
Are you guys familiar with our Social Security here? Well,
Not a lot.
It started with
Not well.
FDR, and the Big New Deal or whatever, the Big New Deal back after World War II, and he implemented Social Security. And ever since then, people are trying to cut that down. They always say that it's not funded, and same with our post office or whatever. They're trying to cut that, and all that does is give corporations, the bankers, the ability to take that money and invest it in hedge funds. That's basically what the whole plan and that's kind of what the whole plan is. This is what they're attacking right here to chip away at the Social Security idea or whatever.
Denmark is gradually moving away from US-style Social Security. It can't afford it. Denmark, the so-called socialist model, is returning the responsibility for retirement savings back to its citizens. And what about healthcare? Free, right? Nothing is free. Danes pay for their healthcare through their high taxes. Private healthcare insurance is available, however. It's becoming more and more popular as long wait times.
Well, now they're trying to attack healthcare too, and throw that in there.
Yeah.
So look, what about?
It's what I just said. That's what they're going to attack.
Yeah.
Those things actually are working in Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's same here. Like.
So what? Let's say I wanted to go to the doctor and I got the pain or whatever. If I was in Australia, what would I go through there, Natcha?
Well, if it's not an emergency, you just go and get an appointment at a local doctor and walk in. You know, usually you can be seen either that day or the next day, worst case scenario. And
let's say I had a 2-day hospital stay. How much would I pay? How much would I have to pay out of my pocket for that?
If you had to treatment for what?
How much would I have to pay for like a 2-day hospital stay if I was in bad shape or they wanted to do some tests on me?
Nothing.
Nothing? Really?
Nothing. No, of course not.
Oh, well.
I mean, the worst thing you might have to pay like if you get left with like, I don't know, they give you prescriptions and stuff, you might have to go and buy your own painkillers from the pharmacist. Or, you know, if you do, like, if it's just a 2-day stay, it's nothing serious. So they're probably not going to charge you for anything because it won't be serious enough of a thing for them to, you know, nothing.
Okay.
Like, even if, you know, like, it just comes out with your taxes every year.
Here it's a little bit different. So we have a kind of an insurance plan, and so for me, the first 300 euros a year, those I need to pay, but that's at the end of the year, and then even those 300 euros I can put in a payment plan, so I don't have to pay those all at once. But Tim, let's say you come and visit here in Holland, and while you're here, you get you get sick and you're going to need treatment and you're going to need to be hospitalized, that is free. You will not be billed for that.
Okay.
Even if you don't have any insurance at all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
biggest thing that happens to people in my country is if somebody gets sick. I mean, if I do a 2-day hospital stay, that's probably $10,000 I'd probably be spending on it.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, it's just outrageously. It's inflated. It's bloated. It's a bunch of shit. It's ridiculous. And I can't remember what it was, but I was looking over some things where for a Band-Aid, they charge you $200 for a Band-Aid at the hospital, and it's like, wow. I got 4 sticks.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But isn't the number one reason for people to go bankrupt in the U.S. Healthcare?
It's a huge thing. A lot of people go bankrupt because if you ended up with something where you had like chemo or something like that, you might as well kiss your freaking house goodbye. I mean, you're just
I know. I'm still talking in DM with a Christian guy, which he sounds like a great guy, someone I'd like to hang out with. But he had to sell his house, he had to sell his cars for chemotherapy. He's clean now, so he's now trying to get back on his feet and trying to get a new house, and he's got a mortgage now, so he's starting building, I think, around this time. But it cost him literally everything he owned.
Yeah,
he had to sell everything.
Yeah,
and that's not even making you a victim. Your entire family is going to be a victim because you're going to be homeless.
Yeah. Yeah, and
literally,
and CEOs of our insurance companies here are billionaires. Go figure.
Yeah.
So that's
how that works.
It's just ridiculous because another thing Trump did that kind of pissed me off is we got our prisons unprivatized or whatever, back into tried to unprivatize them. Now Trump has made that back again. I don't think. No, tell me what's wrong with making a profit off of incarcerating people. Are you going to lobby for laws that make people have to stay in jail longer if it puts people in your thing, to make money out? Because the more people that they have in them beds and them prisons in a private prison, the more money they make. So what are you going to lobby for? Tougher laws, correct? You're going to want to. So there you have it.
Yeah, you want more people in the beds.
Yeah,
in the cells.
Ridiculous. I mean,
it's a growing problem here as well, actually.
Yeah, that's where I believe in the capitalist thing, but there has to be something for the commons, and in the commons, healthcare is one of them, and I mean, Social Security is another one. That's a safety net. We have to have a safety net for people because it's ridiculous. People getting rich because people get sick is not a good, in my opinion.
Associated with government-run medical care becomes less and less popular. But in a welfare state, education is free, right? Well, that's another thing about free. It doesn't mean ideal.
Oh, here's another thing about education. If you invest in education, you get a more educated populace. What happens with a more educated populace? You get a lot more things. You have a lot more people that don't have to.
Basically, it's more people that can be more productive, more productive than they could have otherwise. And instead of ending up in, your base jobs, which there still will be plenty of, and for people to be able to take on, but there'll be a better percentage of people that will be creating jobs, which goes on to further the economy.
Yes,
and you get people who will invent new stuff. So your country will be the first one to be able to sell that and make money off of that. So all in all, you get more
it's all the way of
more money into your country.
It's
an investment that pays out.
Yeah.
It's
Look
an
at
investment that pays out.
Look at Finland. They don't even allow private schools in that country, and they're number one in the academic world.
It's not actually that bad of a concept, because a lot of private schools here are religiously run, and so they're only really a private school for the people who don't want to have that scientific sort of scientific classes and the basic religion. They want the whole school to be run with prayer and with all that. So for a few reasons, I don't see necessarily that many reasons of having private schools, because I haven't really seen a good example of they have great reputations too. Like, some of them here are really good reputations, but still, I don't see why they can't be public, and a more inclusive school.
Exactly, because well, it's a dog eat dog mentality that the capitalist world does have. So I guess that's what. But I mean, educate. I think if you educate people, you're just investing. You're investing in a more productive and more valuable community, because if people are educated, they can fend for themselves better. Period.
You get a better workforce as a whole.
It's not
on every level.
Free to educate your people. It is profitable. You make money by educating your people. Period. I don't even see how you can argue that against it.
The idea they all call it free, but it's not that it's free. You're investing in it, and then the investment pays off.
Yeah, it's a semantic thing right there. They're saying, "Oh, it's free," so they emphasize that word.
Yeah.
Good,
No, nobody in I'm sure Peter will agree, but we don't have this weird fanatical idea that it's actually free, as in doesn't cost any money. Nothing in the world works that way. Nothing in the universe really works that way. So it's kind of a stupid argument.
Yeah. It's
so I am a strong advocate that the educational system should be run by the government, and that every part of the education. So let's say science textbooks. Those should be made, written, and chosen by scientists, not by any school board or people who have no clue what they're talking about.
One small correction: secular government should be
a secular government. Yes, obviously.
Yeah.
And that's where you got a problem in the US as well, because while you have a secular government, most of the people in that government are religious and will have a strong bias towards their personal religion, because that's where the funding comes from. So while you may say that you have a secular government, I don't think it's that secular.
If everyone is required or has the responsibility of pitching in the money for the education, everyone will have the right to access education. And by that, you have to have an education system standardized to be able to be taught to everybody in a correct manner, a factual manner. It sort of automatically should fix a lot of the problems. Not inherently, but by working on it in that direction.
No, 4 years of college here.
Yeah. I even think I even think that the fact that the US doesn't have a state religion is probably the cause of why religion has such a great influence on the government. Because if you were to pick one denomination as the state religion, all the other religions would fight against anything biased by that particular religion, and you get a lot more secular community. I mean, we have a state religion. That's the religion the king has, which is Dutch Reformed.
Okay.
It has no influence anywhere.
That was a friend of mine. He's from England, and he was saying that England has Anglican, right? That's the Queen's.
Yeah,
Queen is like the Pope of it or whatever.
Yeah, no, that's the Archbishop of Canterbury is I think the highest Well, the Queen may have a function.
I think she is
But,
Pope or whatever when it comes to that, because wasn't it King Henry III that like chopped off his wife's head?
Yeah,
So,
that's what I thought.
and then he kicked the Catholic Church out of the country or whatever.
Yeah, and so they made it a lot of reformation. So they have female priests, and priests can marry and stuff like that.
Okay.
I keep forgetting her name. It's I call her the Screech Owl. She's one of the most ugly people you've ever seen. And she left the church when they allowed women to become priests and bishops, because that wasn't proper. So she went back to the Catholic Church.
I gotta make another comment here about. I just realized that. Look at the freaking the animation on there, the graphics. It's got all the windows busted out. And they got somebody tagged all the walls on there. It's like, what the hell?
Graffiti all over the place.
God, what a joke! What a joke you are.
Those are the subliminal messages in PragerU videos are great in doing that, but a lot of the
graffiti is free and easy.
Free, easy, yeah, with smiley face.
Yeah.
It's a public school. Oh, look at that. It must be junk. God, what a...
Yeah, and the smiley face is a vampire.
Oops. Almost 1 in 5 parents in Denmark chooses to send his or her children to private schools.
In Denmark chooses to send his or her children to private school.
His accent's way worse than yours, Peter.
Pay part of the bill themselves.
Well,
yes.
Tim, I was in a live stream with Jill. Do you know Jill?
Clean that private school look.
Jesus is Lord. Oh. I think he's one of the most hated Christians on YouTube. I was in a live stream there for 6 hours. And at the end, I had to tell him that I wasn't an American and that English wasn't my first language, and that had all of them stunned. One of them was a Kiwi who got extremely mad at me because he kept talking over me, and I mirror behavior. So every time he started talking, I started talking, and I used to be a DJ, a radio DJ, so I know how to fill dead air. And yeah, I got kicked from that stream 3 times, and the last time I was completely kicked from the entire stream, but they forgot to retract the link in the side chat, so I got back in and frustrated them a little bit more. It was fun. It was I managed to call, and so at some point it came to what my living conditions were. So I told him I live with 2 girls, and then he started, well, and they're whores and stuff. And I think, well, now you're trying to pick a fight, so I'm not going to do that. So I let him rant about my 2 whores, and then said to him, well, your wife is probably a godly woman, isn't she? And he said, yes. So I started quoting Ezekiel, and that she was dreaming of her lovers hung like donkeys with emissions like horses. And then he showed up with his tiny penis, and that's why they didn't have sex other than to procreate. I had the most fun ever.
My God.
Okay. Now, like Nacho was saying here, look how clean it is in here. And it's probably school's out already, but they're staying 2 minutes late too on the clock back there. So, they're really disciplined kids.
Yeah. And obviously you got an image to enhance the fact that this is a more scientific education, because you got a microscope in the back.
Got a microscope. Yeah.
You know what?
It's all about the subliminal messages, right?
We could just go off of PragerU videos and just sit there making fun of all their subliminal graffiti on there, whatever.
Yeah.
And I noticed the U flag in the background.
I don't know what's after the U though. We'll have to find out here.
Well,
and
it'll be
even includes a
PragerU.
living allowance.
Oh,
But
somebody threw an
there's a
airplane.
growing problem of getting students to stay students
mischievous
and be
children.
supported by the state.
A lifelong active.
What in the fuck?
Kids grow old fast in private schools. You see that?
Yeah, I reckon, right?
By the state, one of those welfare states.
One of those welfare state problems socialists don't like to talk about.
Nope,
And
we
again,
don't.
all this free stuff comes with a price. The average Dane pays 50% of his income in consumption and income taxes. That's right. I said 50%.
50%? Well, I pay about 23%. So what the fuck? And you know what? Billionaires don't pay income taxes. So what the fuck?
No.
Yeah.
Billionaires in the United States do not pay one bit of income tax because they all have it.
Obviously, because they're the people in charge. They need to take care of themselves.
Yeah, well, you get offshore.
While
Here it's
15%
different. The
less
more
than
money you have, the more taxes you pay.
the average American.
Here only the
After
rich people pay up to 50%. Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
Taxes. An average American has a 27% higher disposable income than a Dane. Don't get me wrong.
I bet that's skewed.
Grey windows aside, Denmark has much to recommend it. It's just that being a socialist paradise isn't one of them. I'm Otto Brons Petersen, economist for the Center of Political Studies in Copenhagen, Denmark, for Prager University. Thank you for watching.
Fuck you.
For Prager University.
Yep. Well,
Yeah.
In other words, a bunch of fucking bullshit.
hey.
What I take issue with is that they call themselves a university and they're not. They're a YouTube channel
that's
at
it.
best.
They give
Yeah.
themselves.
How you doing, buddy? Long time. Sorry, I had to do that.
You're right. Oh, yeah.
Go ahead, you guys can talk now.
Oh, yeah, I don't know much to talk about.
We're over an hour now, too, aren't we?
I don't know what are we. Yeah, a bit over now.
Oh, nobody wrote it. Known any Anglicans? This friend of mine in town here, he's from Cheltenham, England, or whatever. But he claims that there's an Anglican church here in my hometown, and I'd never heard of it. I don't even know what Anglican really is. I know it's weird.
Got a bunch of Anglican churches here. Can't remember where they stand on religion. I have no idea. I just know they're some sort of Christian.
I don't know. Maybe it's the thing that monarchists do. I don't know. I think I might. It's getting to be 9/11 here, and the liquor stores close at 10 o'clock, and I haven't got any booze here yet. I think I need a beer yet, so I think I'm gonna shut her down, boys.
All right, that's a fair call. I was thinking I might get cruising too, so good timing.
And thanks for coming on here, guys. This is a lot of fun, actually.
That's all right. Wasn't a problem. I'm glad I could make it too, because I was a bit worried I'd end up working. So yeah, no, I'm glad it worked out nicely.
That was a lot of fun.
And I was one of the first subs, if I remember correctly.
Yes, you were.
So
Nice.
if I wouldn't be here, then something would be wrong, at least with your channel, because
I didn't forget about you, Peter. It's just that
yeah.
Here's the hard part about doing this. You don't know who doesn't get along with the other person or whatever, and it's hard to kind of get people together.
Oh, ain't that the fucking truth?
Yeah.
People together. And I get along.
You know, there's an easy way to get around that, and that is if let's say someone were to come on that I don't get along with. The only thing that I need to keep in mind when that happens is that I am on your channel and I'm a guest, and I need to behave, and I need to set my own things apart from what we're doing here. And a lot of people can't do that, and that's a pity.
Yeah. Peter, if everybody felt that way, this would be a smooth world. It's just so happy.
Yeah,
Everybody's that way.
I mean, if I come on your channel, I'm here because I want to be on your channel. So
Yeah.
that's the only thing that counts. I need to leave my own stuff at the door and come on your channel.
Yeah.
That's how I look at things.
Okay.
So,
It's beer time for me, guys. I gotta have
beer o'clock.
All right. Well, thanks everybody.
beer o'clock. It's
500 subs.
Yay!
okay. So we'll see you all in a month when we'll see you all back in a month when he has 1,000, because we need to get you to 1,000 now.
I like that optimism. And thanks, Hans,
Well,
Chaosism, and Diana for hopping into the side chat there. Sorry I'm not going on any longer, but I gotta get some booze. I haven't drank in a long time.
Fair enough.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
bye.